hate puppies.
Good podcast.
I feel threatened.
Or whatever.
I'll let you make that call.
Thanks, man.
That's what I do. What's going on, everybody?
I was like,
I was trying to think of something different. Welcome to Inside the Pallet House. Thank you so much for joining us another week. You guys wouldn't know it, but we're starting a little later than we anticipated.
coming up
My
on
bad.
coming up on 4 years.
We are coming up
Isn't
on
that
4
crazy?
years. That is crazy.
That is lunatic. We need to. That sounded good.
Fuck?
That was hilarious. Technical difficulties out
Yeah,
the box.
From the start.
Already.
That seems to be your MO right now, huh?
For sure.
Yeah. So we are running a little late tonight.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Not that anybody would know.
I wouldn't put it
ultimately.
on you. I think you were making good time.
I was making great time. I was halted, though.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Sometimes you're making great time, and then they just stop you for various reasons.
Yeah.
Just you were just cruising down the road, just mind your own business. and-
Exactly.
yeah.
Wasn't bothering anyone.
No.
Bothering that radar.
Yeah. Happened to be going 28 over the limit.
Dude, when you sent the text, I thought for sure you were like on the interstate and like
No.
clipping 90.
Yeah, because it's hard to get 28 over anywhere but the interstate.
Yeah.
Not freely.
Hold my LaCroix.
At least that's what you were drinking.
Yeah.
It's always better before the show.
Was
Catch it. Catch
so
And it's one of those where they're in the undercover explorers, you know. Where you
oh,
can't
it
see
wasn't a
them.
mark.
Oh, that's
No.
dirty.
And I was from behind him, so I
Dude.
rolled up on him.
I had no idea they had those.
Yeah.
I have no
Yeah, so
like
they got radar firing out the back at all times?
Yeah.
And front?
No. I'm sure it's not at all times.
He was just like, that car's coming up real fast.
I don't see
Yeah.
why it wouldn't be at all times. Like just clocking numbers, and if something pings over with GPS,
Yeah.
with GPS, they probably know the speed limit of wherever the car happens to be, and if something pings at 28, they're probably like,
Yeah.
"Hey, look behind you! You see anything coming up fast?"
Now that I think about it, though, I guess he could have been behind me. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. All I know is I was
You just saw blue lights.
moving. He cut him on, and then I didn't pull over right away because I'm not like for some reason I get my ass chapped at all these people that like stop in the middle of the fucking road.
Oh, I won't do it.
It drives me up
I
the
don't.
wall.
I don't do that.
So I'm like, I gave him the old. He has this giant spotlight
Yeah.
in my back window, and I'm like, I'm going up here to pull over.
Yeah.
But it was another solid 2 minutes of driving. So I'm like, and I even asked him about that when we were
He
there.
probably said it was cool, right? Or
I
what did
was
he
like,
say?
hey man, what should I do there? He's like, yeah. Luckily, I saw your hand.
Yeah.
It's like if I wouldn't have, I'd have thought you were doing something. So you should probably normally pull over right away, and then if it's a dangerous spot, I'll tell you to go somewhere else. But
Well, it's like you're looking out for him more than anything.
Yeah.
Because if anybody's going to get clipped, it's going to be
Right.
him.
Exactly.
Wandering around in the middle of Whole Street.
The last time I had that happen, it was daylight, so I was able to put my arm out the window, but I also put my hazards on
And throw your.
yeah,
to let him know, like, I'm aware that we have a problem,
Yeah.
but I'm going over
Yeah.
yonder. I once
So-
pulled over. I was coming out of a bar, had just taken a shot with my buddy
yeah.
because he said that was a good idea. So I took his word on it. I
Uh-huh.
was driving us home. And as we were coming back, I was doing the I'm going to pull over up here thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that I'd pulled over into a school.
Oh.
Now, is there a greater offense for me being drunk at a school?
That's a great question.
Like, I know it's a drug-free zone.
Yeah, is it a DUI free zone?
And I was wondering about that because I didn't realize I was in a school.
So
Like, I just pulled over at the first.
how'd it go?
I thought at the time I was very slick because he came and he was like, I pulled you over because you don't have your lights on, which was bullshit because I did have my lights on. It's not like I'm looking down. And I was like, really? And like I kept turning my head to my buddy being like, hey, will you look for my registration? So like all the time I was talking, I was breathing elsewhere was my logic. I was like, hey man, will you go look in that? And then as he's saying that, I'm like, really? Check. And I'm still turning my head away from him, like flicking the lights.
Yeah.
And he actually went out and looked, thank God. And I guess he just determined that I had shitty lights on my Jeep. And he was like, he came back and he let me go with a warning.
Because I've seen people do that, and I've actually done it in the city. Like when you pull out, if you're in a populated city at night, like, and there's enough street lights, you can get down the road without your lights on.
Oh yeah, especially
For
with
sure.
the new daytime running lights.
Yeah.
They're the actual parking lights. They're so bright that
That's what he thought I had on.
Yeah.
Which my Jeep didn't have those.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Just had American electronics.
This girl I knew back in college, I want to say it was down towards the beach. She got pulled at night, and her spidey sense went off. So she was like, I'm driving till I'm somewhere safe. And she ended up driving like 20 miles down the road, and nothing happened. But she got like arrested. Like
wow.
they like were like, you can't, like, yes, you can pull over in a safe zone, but you can't lead us down the road for,
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the next exit. If I'm on the highway, I'll take the next exit.
Yeah.
I just don't like being on the highway with them. I agree with you. I think you're putting them in
I don't
harm's
like
way.
Like Ely said, I don't like being on any street. It's just there's too many people getting clipped out there. You know, and it's funny, like, even with the flashing lights, like, it's like moths to a flame. They just kind of like, oh,
You do. You just kind of stare at it, and you don't realize that you're going towards it.
yeah.
That's why they say
weird.
keep your eye on the ball. You'll get to it. It's the same thing with
if
you're staring at bright lights like a dummy. You'll end up there.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's...
Well, I'm glad Ely made it here.
Yeah, thank God.
Well, I mean, he does drive a race car, so is that the first one?
Dude was reckless as hell, clearly, but he was awesome. I mean, I do the whole, I tell him that my concealed weapon's in the door, I got my arms on the steering wheel, and after our 2-minute interaction, he knows I'm his buddy.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, he knows that you're law-abiding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He knows I'm law-abiding. I got Marine Corps license plates. So all that with cops is kosher as fuck. You know what I mean?
They
so
like
they're
that.
like, they try to do what they can to help you out normally.
Yeah, I mean, and when you get pulled over, like, you need to, like, turn your radio off. Actually, turn your entire car off.
Yeah,
like, put your hands up on top of the steering wheel where they can see them. Roll
Own
the
up
window
to what
down.
you did.
Like,
that shit goes far.
Oh yeah.
My mom's got a good trick, and I've seen it work many a time. When she gets pulled over, she likes to look them dead in the eyes and say, "Don't you have real crimes that you should be dealing with right now?"
That works.
I love it.
I have never seen my mom get away with a speeding ticket of any kind. I have seen her get popped for like 7 over. I've seen her get popped for way over. She just looks at him dead in the eye and just thinks, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
We're going to have it out because she's going to win at least the argument.
Yeah.
I probably get out of at least half of what I get into.
I don't
most
know.
of the time.
Yeah.
I've gotten out of a couple, I guess, but I actually, knock on wood, I haven't been pulled over in a good 10 or 12 years. So I've
I got pulled over in the fan going the wrong way down a one-way after having too many, and I'm driving down there, and I look over, and the cop looks at me. He's like, puts his arms up. He's like, "What are you doing?" He mouths that to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just take off, and he flips at you, pulls me over. I was fresh back from Iraq.
Yeah.
He basically was like, "You need to let somebody else drive."
Yeah.
And,
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That stuff like that. Being military and
that
knowing
helps.
how to not be an asshole
Yes.
gets you so far when it comes to police.
I had one time. I was so good to the cop that he was like, he gave me the ticket, and then I went to court. The cop actually came up and was like, I got to be honest, he was a really good guy. He didn't argue. He admitted to everything, and he followed everything the way he should. And the judge was like, do you think I should take that into consideration? And he's like, in this instance, I would. I
Can't
got
get
away
much
with
better
it.
than
I was
that.
like, whoa. I was
So
like,
you got
this is-
off?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I ended up having to, I think
Pay
I
the
got
court fees. And,
yeah, I mean, I had to deal with that shit. But I was like, that was huge. I was like, that's why you show up and wear a suit.
Yeah.
Because the person in front of me was in pajamas.
Dude, that
Quite literally.
See, okay, so that's a good question. Actually, I'm going to go back really quick. I want to make sure that it's clear that I wasn't going down a one-way because I was so inebriated and stupid.
no.
There's so many one-ways in Richmond that I just moved here. It's confusing as hell.
Yeah, you just-
I just happened to have. I probably would have been over the limit.
Yeah.
But I was like,
You
don't
weren't
know where the hell I'm
unfit to
going.
drive.
Right. I just didn't know
yeah.
where the hell I was going.
Yeah.
Because when you just move down here, there's so many one-ways compared to where I was coming from. But I wonder if the courts
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah,
How do they know where I'm going?
His arms went up, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "No, I just gassed it."
I don't know,
Yeah,
sir.
That's right. And it's
Yeah.
funny is I bumped into that dude in like Wawa all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, after that, for like years after that, and we give each other the old Shooter McGavin. You know?
You got to be careful with doing a
Yeah.
Shooter McGavin at a cop.
That's right.
Be careful. He's like, this
Yeah.
motherfucker keeps threatening me.
That's
I
right.
let him off.
Yeah. We have a high five afterwards, though. But I
That's
do wonder,
hilarious.
though, if the days of that are going away.
Cops letting you off?
No, like going to because you're dressed up. Like I could easily see this social justice warrior shit being like they're giving these motherfuckers off because they dressed the fuck up.
Oh, I can see that.
Show
for
some
sure.
respect. You're
So
in
I'm
court.
wondering if the pressure. Yeah, clearly we get it.
Well, I can't see judges letting off on that. Now, the
But
rest
you
of the
don't
world.
see. I can just see pressure on them to not let people off just because they're dressed nice.
Well, I told you.
Yeah,
when-
I could see that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've talked about it, but in my previous employer, when I was hiring people, I went through HR training that told me I can't judge people on how they look, how they're dressed,
But that's impossible.
how
That's
the-
what's
how
crazy.
their hygiene is, if they're late for the interview. These are all things that I can't judge an interviewee on. And I'm like,
But you don't have to hire him either.
But that's the thing.
No.
That's the dumbest shit.
No,
is
you
because
do- you
you will
do.
still judge them.
yeah,
Like if they have a problem in what you just mentioned, you may not mention it, but you'll just say, "Oh, no, they're
Yeah, they didn't
You'll
answer the
come up with
questions
another
right.
reason.
Yeah.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's like,
but
That's what I'm saying.
HR is like, if they're the best, if they're the most qualified for the job, then they should get the job. I'm like,
Then why am I talking to them?
Showing up on time is a way
absolutely
to quantify their qualifications. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you can't show up for the interview?
Yeah. Like, why am I talking to them then?
Yeah.
Let's just get these resumes. You whistle dick, point out the most qualified person. We'll
Yeah,
just bring them the fuck
exactly,
in here and see if they can start Monday.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why bother me? I got
Yeah,
better shit to
exactly.
do. I hate interviewing people anyway.
Right.
Like, I
So-
really get something in that 30-minute.
Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
Yes, I don't know.
But if someone shows up on time, dressed well, right? They show up on time, they're dressed well.
Yes.
They answer all the questions the same as the person who showed up late,
Yes.
dressed like a slob. You're
Yeah.
not going to give the job to the slob.
That's true.
I mean, obviously they shit the bed.
Yes.
So I mean, it still matters.
Yeah,
Basics matter.
but technically
Sounds
you're
like
not-
to them they didn't want it to matter.
Yeah.
Maybe they just have to put you through the course. What you do with the information's up to you. Don't ever admit
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's in writing.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
In their defense, I've had people show up looking good on time, interview well,
Worthless.
and be worthless.
For
So
sure.
I mean, there's no right way to do it. I mean, there's some
If I
markers
show
that I
up-
think are important.
If I show up drunk in sweats, I probably shouldn't get the job.
Yeah.
Depends on the job.
That's true. Ooh, Duffman, you're hired.
Yeah. Uzo.
Yeah, it's just
Uzo for Tuzo.
so you're saying you're wondering if they're going to start not thinking that's as important as it should be in the courts.
No,
and
I
stuff
think-
like
I
that.
think they still are going to think it's very important. I just think that there's going to become political pressure to say that you can no longer
Yeah, if I couldn't
you
afford
can no longer
a good
discriminate
outfit,
against people that are not dressed nicely.
Yeah.
well, in some respects, to play devil's advocate, if you can't afford
But,
nice
but there's a
clothes,
thing.
Absolutely.
There's a
Then,
total.
yes.
There's difference between showing up
Trying.
in pajamas and showing up in a suit.
That's
Like,
the thing. If you show up in a
you can
button-down
find
shirt-
a collared shirt.
Yeah,
at a
everyone's
thrift
got a
store,
collared
you
shirt.
know, like yeah.
but this person in front of me was actually in pajamas.
You can show up either clean shaven or with a beard, but don't look like you're somewhere in between for the past 3 months. Like
I just wonder. I wonder how much of that scrutiny judges are open to. Like how are they?
I think judges live by their own set of rules.
Yeah.
yeah, each one's a little different.
I really do. They've made
new
it to a
Serial was
different
like that.
position. Yeah, that new
kinda
serial
opened
was
your eyes to
really
that.
interesting to hear
Yeah.
that. Like each
Well,
one.
there
just
was a
is this way.
judge. There was a judge when I was a kid in the county I lived in, a female judge who let the guys off more than the girls
Really?
for any silly infraction.
But see, that is fucked up.
yeah,
Like screw him.
Oh yeah.
Like that's
That was a
not
girl.
right.
No, her.
Well, screw her.
yeah.
It's easier anyway.
But like you said, you can't help judge. Like everyone has their own biases, right? On some level,
Yeah, but as a judge, you're not supposed
you're
to
not
have them.
supposed to. But that's easier said than done.
Sure, everyone's going to have them, but I think as a standard rule of thumb,
Yeah.
show up to court looking like you respect the environment that you're going to.
Yes.
That's not complicated, and that shouldn't be
Well,
complicated.
worst case scenario, I mean, it's not going to hurt you, right? Like that's the way I look at it. Like,
Oh, I used to go. Remember when they used to take your picture and it would be like chest up?
yeah,
I always would go to a suit to the DMV.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, anyone who's checking my ID has no idea who I am. So they have two images of who I am. The person here and the person standing in front of them.
Yeah.
And if I'm being dealt with face to face, I probably don't like the person that's in front of them.
Yes.
So I at least want to show them an ID that's like, no, this guy's employed.
yeah,
Like, and I do think that played into their psyche a little bit. Now though, they make you take
From
you know,
the neck
it's
up,
just
yeah.
like your chin up and no smile. Like,
Well, like you said, like it can't hurt, right? So
Yeah.
why not?
that's always
see,
it. Always hedge
I
my
think
bets.
in this situation is one of the only situations we're not going to court.
Perfect.
My driver's license. This
Still has a
picture's
tie.
11 years old, and I'm wearing a tie.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's what you want.
I think the situation with me tonight is the one situation where you don't want to go to court, though, because
No, you're good.
No.
You were much better off dealing with it in that moment because it was reckless. I mean, once
Yeah.
it goes to court,
yeah, because I can see getting chewed out or getting something thrown at me because
Yeah.
it was 28 over.
Yeah.
Whereas the dude was like, "It's all good. I'm just going to write you a speeding ticket,
Yeah, I'm with you. Like
and you can pay it online."
the
ahead
chances
time.
of you getting it talked down are way less than the chances of you getting one taking off work, driving to the courthouse, going through the motions.
and
I
there's
mean,
no,
and you
nothing
can
to
sit,
gain.
and you
Yeah.
and when you show up at a courthouse, you don't know how long you're going to be there.
right.
I mean, that could be an all day affair. Like, and your time's
If
more
I could-
valuable than
Yeah,
that.
but if I could do something to get it dropped, like community service or
Driving school or something?
to get it dropped, I would do that. So
Well, that's the only. I mean, you could go to court and argue for that, but that's probably a still low percentage.
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever had to do community service?
Uh,
Either of you?
What is community service? Like
You
Like
could-
court,
I feel like I
court
do community
ordered.
service every Monday.
You,
God
I was
damn
gonna
it.
say
No,
you could
court
go to court
ordered.
and you could say, "I'm sorry, I was in a rush. I had just gotten out of doing my community service that you do every week." I'm sure you've talked about. I don't want to put yourself out there, but you could tell them that
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
leaving this and trying to get to another appointment that you have at on Monday nights.
Yeah, they don't necessarily care. I got popped once going home to see my grandmother on her deathbed, and I was speeding, and I told the
Yeah.
guy, I was like, "Look, I'm trying to get home. I got a call from my mom. Like, my grandmother's on her deathbed." And that dude was like, "Wait here." Took his sweet ass time, gave me a
Yeah.
reckless. I was like,
Well, you gotta
thanks
think-
a lot. I'm
he's-
sure he hears
I
that
was gonna
shit, but
say,
I mean,
yeah,
it was
there's-
real. Like,
yeah.
I wasn't lying to him. Like, I get it. I was like, "Look, I was speeding. Can I have the ticket? I got to get home."
You
Like-
with the same grandma again?
Yeah.
I stopped you last week.
How many grandmas do you have?
Yeah, exactly. Where's the grandma
She
line?
keeps holding on.
Go sit over there with the other grandmas.
My parents are divorced. I got lots of grandmas.
Yeah.
I did get community service once in college for a noise
Yeah, so what is
violation.
that?
I ended up having to pick up some trash, and then though they ended up moving me into the dining hall, and I had to sit in the back.
Oh, so this is with the school. This is through the school.
I mean, it was Radford University. Yeah, I guess it was Radford City Cop though, but one of the places he could give me community service
Was at the school.
Yeah, so I did like a little bit of like adopt a spot type cleanup, and then they put me in the dining hall, and I can still to this day cut a green pepper faster and cleaner than just about anybody, because for weeks they were like green peppers, and I would just sit there and core them and cut them for hours and hours.
Wow.
Sometimes
I
I'd
wonder-
be scooping food.
Sorry. I wonder if police officers take notes on these stops.
Like if you went to court, if you might have something to.
How else do they remember what the fuck it was?
Yeah, I would
when
think
they get to court.
They would
This
have
guy
to.
had to have taken notes because he, that one guy who let me off. I mean, he
Yeah.
remembered like things I said, how I handled myself, and I was like, yes. And all the stops he does, like, what are the odds he remembered that? He had
if you're a
that
police
note.
officer and a listener, shoot us a note. Let us know.
Yeah, is it worth Ely's time to?
I wonder if I can get a lawyer because I know that cop was
We
favorable
know a
towards
lawyer.
me. Yeah, but I know that cop was favorable towards me.
Yeah,
So I wonder if I can get one to talk to him to see if he'd be willing to let me.
I guess you got to figure
Get
out
rid
how
of it.
much the fine's going to be first and foremost.
Oh, it's going to be a ton.
Hey, it's going to be $200 or $300.
I don't know that
Honestly.
I'd push it. If you got off with a something you can call in, like just pay the fine.
Maybe it's still my insurance is still going to go up.
True. I mean, if you
That's
think
what I'm
you
trying
can
to
get
avoid.
it. I've also had once where I went to court and the cop didn't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I got away with
I've
that
had
one
that.
because it was literally, they were like, how do you plead? I was like, not guilty. There's
Yeah.
nobody here. And he didn't have there was no other testimony.
Yeah.
So my not guilty held up. It
I
worked.
got a speeding ticket when I was in high school going 95 and a 65, and my mom flipped shit when I got home that night and
Oh, I'm
told her
sure.
about it. Jerked that license out from under me. It was my last 2 months of high school. I had to come back on a Wednesday from Beach Week to go to court. My dad drove all the way down to Nags Head, picked me up, took me all the way back up for court. I guess that was on a Tuesday. I had court Wednesday. And when we got in front of the judge, my mom explained, like, she just made me look like a chump in front of the judge, tore me a new one in front of the
Sometimes
judge.
judges like that.
Oh, yeah.
To explain to the judge I hadn't been driving in over 2 months since the day it happened. And the judge was like, oh, you've already paid your dues.
Yeah.
You're good to go. Went right to DMV, stood in line for 2 hours, got my driver's license, jumped in the car, drove back to the beach, surprised all my buddies that were down there,
That's hilarious.
swung the door
Who
open.
needs
They're
a
like,
ride?
what are you doing? Next morning we get up, we're cruising up and down Beach Road. I get pulled.
Yeah, you did.
I pull over. I'm like, I'm going 20. Like, what's going on? Cop comes up. He's like, you know where I pulled you? I was like, no. He's like, you don't have a seatbelt on. This is in the late 90s. I'm like, what? Yeah, we have a seatbelt law. I'm like, geez, dude. So he's like, come back here with me. I step out of the
Can I just
car.
write a fundraising check out to
Yeah.
your county really quick and we can get this over with?
I step out of the car and I turn around and I look at his stupid cruiser. And of course, they
It's a
don't have.
stripper gram.
They don't have. No, yeah.
Lucky day.
They don't have front license plates down there, but he's got the custom one that says click it or ticket.
Oh, nice.
I know immediately.
Nice.
I
You're
ain't
done.
talking my way out of this
You're
one.
done.
I have to go sit in the cruiser with the dude in the front seat right next to the freaking shotgun that's bolted in there. And I'm just sitting there while he writes me a ticket. I'm like, I've had my driver's license for less than 24 hours, man. Not even a moving. I mean, it's just a fine.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm still pissed. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like we were talking about, you're going
Yeah.
under 20 miles an hour.
I'm just doing 28 over.
I'm just recklessly speeding down the road in a ridiculously fast car. What have I done?
Yeah, so that was one of my best speeding tickets or pulled over stories.
I got so many of them.
Yeah, mostly mine are they're all car stuff though. I mean that seems
I
to
would
be.
hope so.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just saying that's where I tend to get in trouble is in a car. Outside of that, I'm.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
able
Well,
to
that's your
keep my
first
nose-
one in your new race car. So I mean,
I got let go on another one in the car.
I don't see how you don't get on it. I mean, and these new cars, you don't even know you're going fast. Like, and
That's the problem is, so where my house is, to the store or to anywhere that I go,
Yeah, you got 10
I'm going
miles.
70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Everywhere that I go. Legitimately, I pull out of my house, speed limit's 60, so I'm going 67, 68
Yeah,
all of the time.
See, that's why I need a Miata.
and that's just a
Always
two-lane road.
feels like
Yeah.
warp speed.
yeah.
And then
Then it opens up and it slows
same
down.
So I
Yeah.
got pulled on the same exact road. It just drops down to 45. And
There's that one school zone you got to watch
Oh, that's
out
right.
for.
'Cause that's where
Grange Hall, yeah.
it goes down. So that hurts.
Yeah, right there by Chipotle, down at the bottom on Hall Street, where it was.
That
Actually, well,
stinks.
coming up to the top. But
and it's, I mean, at night when it's not packed, this road's like 8 lanes wide, and you're just like cruising.
I was just before commenting to myself, thinking to myself how empty the road was. It was weird. I was like, "There's no one out here."
Well, and you made a comment to me the other day when I was at your house. You were like, "I can't believe I don't get pulled over more."
I know.
So,
And that's honestly, I was due.
yeah.
fair enough.
So, but on 288 on the way here after I got pulled, I was like, all right, back to cruise.
Well, Corolla always talks about it. Like, he's like, cars are designed to go faster. They're safer.
Yeah.
You got all these super high-tech things going on in your car. Like, they probably need to adjust the speed limit accordingly.
There's a case.
How long's it been 45 there?
Yeah.
Forever, right? Like, your 82 Corolla, no pun intended, does not function the way your new race car does. Like,
And for a long time, where my sister lives in Montana, they had no speed
Yeah.
limits. That was awesome.
a lot of that state doesn't have speed limits.
Oh, they have to have them now because the federal government
That's
said
right.
that they were going to cut all their funds
for road
if they
maintenance.
didn't-
and
That's how they do everything.
Yep.
That was dirty because the whole state said, you know what? Look, it's an absolute straight line. And it really is. In Montana,
Yeah.
you can see the highway for damn 20 miles. And then
Until
it
your
starts.
vision's fucking gone.
Well, I think the earth might curve
No.
or something.
No.
Maybe it
No,
does.
your eyes just stop working at a certain
I
distance.
think that may be
Yeah.
it. But you can honestly see forever. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what's on the road in front of you, and it's a perfectly straight line because from there, it's not like they're weaving around stuff. They like go, okay, this town, the next town's 30 miles that way. We should go straight.
Yeah.
And they just start the road and have it go straight. It's a very novel idea. But so you were able to
I mean, that being
fly.
said, I'm not an advocate for no speeding,
right.
no speed limits, but
But when you're doing 90 on a road like that, it doesn't feel unsafe because
No.
you see everything that's not on the road coming your way. You see everything. It's
Right.
all
Yeah.
there. It's just flat
There's
land.
something to be said for the speed limit nervous Nelly driver is way worse than the
oh yeah.
aggressive,
well, there's
comfortable driver. I guess
a
aggressive.
comfortable.
Yeah,
There it is. I was about to say because there's some assholes out there that just go
Oh,
crazy
next
and
level.
they put people. I was with a buddy. This is probably about a year ago. We're coming down 95, and you could just see this minivan from behind us weaving in and out. And the way it was weaving at such high speeds, you would see the whole thing like tipping. It's like this person was just cracked out. It was
or
like-
running to save the world, maybe.
It was like a 19.
minivan.
It was
Yeah.
an old school beat up like Ford Aerostar, like just
Yeah.
hurting.
Hardly roadworthy.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And
Ace
this guy
Ventura.
was flying, and you would see him squeal up on people and like jam over, and the whole. And we were like, "What the fuck? Like this is the most dangerous dude ever." And we just kind of pulled over to the furthest lane over on 95. Like I don't want to be anywhere
Yeah.
near this guy, and just let him take off. It was no more than 5 minutes later that all of a sudden it was like brake lights, brake lights, brake lights. And we were both like, it's got to be that asshole. And sure enough, this thing was on its side, like scraped across over into the median.
Damn.
Like it had wrecked hard. But it was just because he was being a total psycho.
Yeah.
And the guy was standing there like dumbfounded next
Like,
to the car.
how did this happen?
Like, I can't believe this
What's
happened.
wrong with you?
Yeah. And he looked like the kind of dude that was going to show up in sweats
Yep.
or pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was
probably true.
It was bad. Like definitely had that kind of methed out look to him, you know.
That meth look. That's a good look.
Dude, speaking of meth, one of the listeners sent in a ridiculous story
Really?
this past week. One of our listeners, Ben, sent in a story about a news anchor in LA who
Louisiana?
Los Angeles. The funny thing about this guy, like he sent me
Ben?
the picture. No, I got plenty of stories about Ben, but this guy, like I saw the picture and I was like, this is like a good looking guy. Like when I think meth, I think, you know, you're going to have
Teeth
scabs on
out,
your face.
yeah.
Teeth. I mean, this dude looked like a news anchor that would be able to be on TV in Los Angeles of all
I was
places.
going to say that's a big market. So I mean, if you're on that market, then you are one of those guys.
You got to look good in LA. Like you get away with a little more in Roanoke, Virginia. You know, to make it to LA, you got to look good and you got to be pretty eloquent, to say the least. And this guy had looked like he had it all going on. This dude ODs and they get the autopsy results back and he had been he'd been messing around with his boyfriend at some hotel room, and he was sticking meth rocks up his ass.
Nice.
While hooking up with this guy. So he'd had one meth rock up there for a little while, and then he decided to stick another meth rock up his ass.
That's chasing the dragon right there. Holy shit.
And then he put like a ventilator on of sorts and filled it with poppers, which poppers are like...
dude parties.
Yeah. like this dude was off the deep end, even by Los Angeles standards. Like, this is a little extreme.
Yeah.
You guys taste beers, huh? Cool.
Yeah. He's like, I know this
losers.
This meth in my anus has a very particular flavor. This is good stuff. So this dude was completely just whacked out.
That's insane.
And apparently after the second meth rock in his butt and then all the poppers in his ventilator, which I don't even want to hook up with someone in a CPAP mask.
Yeah.
I can only imagine like a ventilator full of poppers.
And if that's what killed him, what got him there?
Right.
Because that's not day one shit. Like
That's very true.
He's gone up the ladder.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
smoking this meth, not good enough.
Exactly.
Or maybe he was worried about his teeth.
Sit around and think to yourself, how can I get higher? What can we do, man?
I
like you're worried about the teeth thing.
No, because he's got to look good. That stuff is horrible for your teeth. You know, they never put the camera on your butthole. So I guess like if that looks ravaged and scabby, that's okay.
That's a great point.
You don't want to look bad, so keep your teeth in shape. It's like shooting up heroin between your toes, I guess, kind of thing. So like no one sees what's happening. But
who figured that one out? Smoking's just not good enough for me. I need to go a different route.
Exactly.
It's got to be different too, right?
Hey, dog,
I don't
went
know.
to the hospital. They had these sharp shits, and they put it in your arm.
Yeah.
And then this guy, the saddest part about it is right at the end of this article. It's like he leaves his wife and 9-year-old daughter behind. And I'm like, what a piece of shit.
That's the daggers.
Like he probably had this whole persona.
How did he think that was going to end? I'm assuming he wasn't thinking.
With a raging orgasm, I'm assuming. I mean, why else would you be doing all that? But dude.
So he was slamming his buddy while he was married.
Yeah. And raging out on drugs.
For sure.
I mean, like on a level that's unheard
What would
of.
disappoint he's thinking, what would disappoint my
Imagine
wife
banging a
more?
rock knuckle deep in your shithole.
No!
Dude, that is the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Like, that is disgusting.
Who on earth?
That's why his friend had to be there.
Yeah,
His
exactly.
friend had to call the cops. He's like, all right, I'm going to have to take the ventilator mask off this guy, and hopefully all that's gone. But, I mean, there was
That's
still...
some leaving Las Vegas shit.
Yeah, that is
It
some.
really is. He got after it. So they're down one news anchor in L.A., so...
He interviewed well.
Yeah, something tells me
he was on time.
He showed up on time in a good-looking suit.
For sure.
That dude showed up a week early, just
gotta
raging for the interview.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder too, like if any of his like coworkers and stuff had any inkling to any of that. You know, like
I cannot imagine you not knowing someone does that.
I mean,
There's no all right, I'm going to even go there's no chance now that I think about it.
someone knew, or someone had a.
I would know. And I'd be hard pressed for you to tell me otherwise. And this is why. Because it's not like this person is smoking meth and hiding it. He's already gone to, I'm putting them in my butthole.
Yeah, he's
Which
far
means-
down the
yes,
rabbit hole
way
of drugs.
down
Yeah.
the rabbit hole of drugs, which means he's got certain tics.
And running off with your lover, and you
Right.
know, like
Yeah.
getting hotel rooms.
Right.
And, I mean,
Yeah.
So his wife had to have something on some level.
Right. And
I would assume, but I guess that's almost like a political thing. Like you don't want to have the controversy, so maybe he makes a good living.
Yeah.
Look, baby, I'll take care of you. Like, sorry, I've
Yeah.
turned into this monster.
yeah.
We're here with this Darth Vader mask that I put on. Put another
Like-
one in.
He's probably like, look, there's certain things I'm not going to ask you to do. You probably wouldn't even want to do them, so I'm going to run
Right.
over here.
And good on her.
Yeah.
We should start a GoFundMe for that saint.
Yeah. Jeez.
Imagine the story she tells the kid.
That's what I was gonna. That's where I was heading next. Like, what do you tell?
Yeah.
Like,
Working late again.
It's a little easier for
There's
a
a big
4-year-old,
story.
though. A
There's a
9-year-old's
nine-
going to hear about it.
well, yeah. It's like, Oh, was Dad over in Afghanistan? No. Was he out rescuing the dog out of the
MLK
lake?
Boulevard.
No.
Under the Johnson Street Bridge.
In his Armani suit.
Yeah.
Was he in a Hyatt? No. He was in some no-tell motel probably. I mean, that's brutal.
Yeah, that kid's going to hear about that.
Yeah.
That sucks. Because if I'm hearing about it,
Yeah.
you know, granted the story came from Atlanta, a little bit closer to L.A., but far enough that it's probably going to make it to the school. That
I
sucks.
feel like they should write a story for the kid.
Like,
He was saving a puppy and
yeah.
a train ran over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just had a heart
Here's
attack.
the article about your dad's passing.
Yeah.
It's written in crayon, Mom. Trust me.
The date's wrong on it.
Yeah.
It's from The Onion. I'm confused.
Even
Yeah.
Troy wouldn't bring this to the podcast. This is a lie.
Exactly.
Yeah, I saw Ben sent that one in. I was like, hey, thanks a lot, buddy.
Oh.
That's,
I
We
saw-
like it when the guests send in stories.
I do, and honestly, the headline didn't make any
No,
mention
no.
of this. It was like L.A. newscaster dies. And I was like,
Okay.
how's
that-
this funny?
Yeah.
That explains why I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And then I read the article and I was like, whoa, this is just 3 paragraphs of earth-shattering information. Like,
Right.
this is insane. They didn't sugarcoat it. They didn't talk about his Peabody Award or anything. It was like literally went right to it,
Right to meth in the butt.
which is a new one.
Just how my great grandfather
yeah.
went.
That's how they mostly went back in the day. Like early 1900s, that was.
I got a good idea how he got it in there.
I feel bad for that guy. That thing's still probably numb. You know? I've lost all sensation. Yeah, that's going to happen.
You're dying.
We need
That's why.
We need a divorce, hon. You
Yeah.
can't get it deep enough.
Ely.
Too soon.
Yeah, he was an upstanding citizen.
Yeah, that's right. Chief meteorologist.
He had to be on like the Paramount Network or something, right? Like
The Ocho?
or the CW.
Yeah.
On the WB.
Yeah, it's like, well, we're either going to use this singing frog or this guy. His teeth are great.
Yeah. It's fidgety, though.
He's very fidgety.
His neck's real itchy.
Yeah.
You
got any more of them Cheetos?
He sure does scratch a lot. Over to you, Tom. Stop
Got any
scratching.
Got any more than meth rocks for your butthole?
Oh,
I think they're a different grade.
Yeah.
I need, if I'm smoking them, I need this. If I'm inserting them, I need this.
oh yeah, because you can't just like take a Tylenol and put it in your bum. It's got to be a suppository. Like there
Yeah.
has to be. I'm sure they figured it all out.
I need, you
No, this
you want a
dude-
smoother one, right?
Yeah.
You don't want it all itchy.
Ooh, I'm keeping that one for later.
Got that rock tumbler I put my meth rocks in to smooth them out.
It's fair to say he's tried smoking it in his butt first, right?
Yeah.
That's difficult. I've got to assume.
Challenge
When I say
accepted.
smoking, I mean a shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
A gravity bong hit.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know how you graduate from just smoking it. That's crazy. But then to have a ventilator with poppers like on your face. I mean, this dude was.
Well, it's
That's
like
next level.
it's like the intravenous stuff. It's like, how do you get to that level? You're like,
Have you ever even heard of like anybody being like, I've got poppers?
No.
It
No.
seems to be prevalent in like the clubbing community
Really?
and in that
Yeah.
community. Yeah, it's like for whatever reason, I hear about people taking pot, but I've never actually heard of anybody I know even being around a situation.
For me, the drug scene, I've never understood the IV stuff and the huffing. Like, because back when we were kids, a lot of people huffed
You
the
remember-
paints and and I always just thought that was probably the worst thing you could possibly do because
Yeah.
it looked like it was instant brain cell death. Like,
I was at a party in high school, and this kid was just sitting there just huffing stuff, and I'm like, he was huffing butane.
yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if this is a good idea, man. I was like, that seems really stupid.
Well, you see the like mug shots with the dudes that like huffed spray paint and stuff, and they're
yeah, it's all gold mouth. This dude was huffing butane and fell out, like at the party, like fell and just
just crashed.
crashed into a table, and that was like, now we got to call the cops. Like, this
Yeah.
dude's dead.
Yeah.
He came around, but I was like, hey, man, maybe you shouldn't be doing that
let's-
stuff. Like,
Grab a natural light and just kick it with the rest of us.
yeah. Like, this is going to take far longer to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, have a beer.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, I've seen some bad shit. Speaking of beer, I picked up an interesting beer today because
Oh, really?
I noticed a new trend as I was
I'm sure you did.
This one's odd. So I was walking through Wegmans today, and I've never had a beer like this, so I don't know what to expect.
This is for the ladies.
It might be,
That means I'm gonna like it.
maybe. Oh, you can see.
Drop it on the way over here.
I did. I dropped it when I got in the garage, but
Here,
it's
I'll take the denim one.
apparently they're all dented.
Yeah, I got a seriously dented one.
So
good.
I was walking through the grocery store today, and I noticed that I've seen New Belgium came out with the Brute IPA, which is supposed to have like champagne flavors. Now that is a huge category right now in IPAs is Brute IPAs.
Isn't Brute like the worst of champagne?
Yeah, I guess it means like dry.
I thought it was a cologne.
That's
damn good cologne. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But I saw this, and then I started noticing the Brute IPAs are popular right now. Then I noticed that they had all these like rosé ciders.
Give it a sniff before you drink it.
Okay. Interesting.
Interesting.
So I noticed a bunch of rosé ciders. Then I noticed that there were a bunch of rosé beers, and I was like, "What is going on here?" I didn't know this was a trend. I haven't seen it come to be.
I've never heard of this brewing company.
Was it in like
Firewalker.
Yeah, Firestone Walker
Brewing Company. This is the Rosalie Beer Rosé, all natural with hibiscus and wine grapes. It's 5%.
Now this was the one.
It's in
So
California.
I did some shopping. Like I walked around and looked at all the different rosé beers.
Were you at Total Wine?
I was at Wegmans,
Wegmans.
and I just
I haven't
thought
seen this.
I just thought this one looked like the most appealing of the rosé beers. So this is the.
Was there a bunch?
That's what I'm saying. There were a ton of them.
How many?
I probably saw 3 different rosé beers, 2 different rosé ciders, and
Wow.
like 3 different Brute style IPAs. So there's
Interesting.
obviously a trend,
And I know the rosé
happening.
wine has taken off.
and that's what it is. Is that
Which I always
rosés?
thought rosé was mocked in the wine world.
Rosé's trash.
Yeah.
And over the last 2 years, it's become very popular in the wine world because in the summer, people love drinking rosés, and now like
That just shows you wine people and all people are idiots. Like, because what will be considered trash will, in a couple years, be cool. And what is the fucking difference?
Yeah.
It's not. There's no. Whatever rosé was 2 years ago is what rosé is today. Some marketing genius has sold you otherwise, but it's no different.
Yeah.
this beer is weird.
And it tastes
This is very
like
weird.
Rosé.
A lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot like a rosé.
Right.
This is interesting.
Like they
If
may
you
have-
told me this was just rosé wine, I would say okay.
So it's the Rosalie Beer Rosé, again by Firestone Walker Brewing Company out of California. And if I can get it in Richmond, Virginia, and it's from California, you can get it anywhere. So if you're a rosé drinker, this one might be right up your alley. But apparently this is quite the trend right now. I find some interesting stuff going on here.
Let me see if I can read. At Firestone Walker, beer before glory is our mantra for reminding ourselves what we do. Reminding ourselves we do what we do because of the beer, period. It's our battle cry to never accept well enough. It's the high aim for a perfect beer we will never make. Beer before glory is our craft, ever honed on the stone of humility.
Makes sense.
I'm going to put him in the mid-level reading tier.
Yeah.
I can't give him the high level.
No.
Well, I was expecting something about this beer, but I don't see anything on here about this beer
Yeah,
other
it's-
than all natural with
It says right
hibiscus
here,
and wine.
according to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy. So
Makes sense.
that
It's a
does make
weird
sense.
can too. It's a real
Yeah, it's-
feminine can.
It's one of those tall, thin
Michelob
cans.
Ultra.
Yeah,
So you obviously know they're catering to either the female audience
it's
or
like a
or
light
the-
orange, peach colored.
or they're catering to that whole like health nut audience because that's what Ultra does as
You
well.
could show the camera if it was on.
If it was on. That's right. He at least had technical difficulties there. Well, Troy, what do you think of that?
I don't see any health info on this boxer cans. You know, calories and all that stuff, which is interesting. So I'm assuming it's not very good on any of that stuff.
I kind of like the girl on it though. She's holding wine grapes in one hand and a big old hop, bud in the other. That's kind of cool.
I think the ladies would love this. It tastes just like a rosé to me. I don't taste any beer in it. It's not bad.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
What do you think? And what's your? I see you taking that other sip. You want to make sure you get it right.
Yeah, I do. This is a weird one because it's not bad.
How is it as a beer?
I haven't had enough rosé to know exactly what a rosé tastes like.
You got to believe it's close to
yes,
this.
It is close to this, but it finishes pretty clean and crisp and doesn't have a bad aftertaste. So I don't dislike this. I give this a 3. I can't go 2.5 again. I go 2.5 too often. So
you know what it reminds me of?
I'm going to go on the higher side.
Welch's white grape juice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know that difference between white grape juice and the is it blue or purple? Grape
Purple.
Juice? Purple.
Yeah.
So when
That'd
you
be
get
blueberries.
when you get white grape juice, that's what this tastes like. So if this was a rosé, it would get panned for tasting too much like grape juice, which is funny. So it's probably a bad example of a rosé.
Yeah.
It's really kind of refreshing.
It's a light version of a rosé for sure. No, refreshing is a great way to put it. Like you could be by the pool drinking this. You could drink this on a hot summer day, and
there's a part of me that likes it.
Yeah,
it's really weird for me to say because it's a horrible beer. Because it's not.
Yeah, it's not a beer.
It's not a beer at all.
Yeah, it's a way to put wine in a beer can.
It's a beer. My wife would like this beer.
Yeah,
because she hates beer. Even most flavorful beers, girly beers, she doesn't like because they're quote unquote too much like beer.
I did not expect this to be this grape juicy though.
Yeah,
like this must be the most generic of beers with grape juice added to it or something.
Yeah,
because it's strong. I like this horrible beer. I don't know that I would ever order it, ever, which makes it hard to give a high score to because
I grab it out of the cooler on a hot summer day though.
I think if you're a rosé drinker, I do think you should try this beer.
It's on the equivalent to me. It's up there with not the flavor, but it's just as easy to drink as those White Claws and all those seltzer waters. Like to me, it's up there with that. Now, some of those have better flavors that I like more, but this isn't bad.
Troy, I'm going to go right with you there because as a beer, I can't really say I would get it. As a beer, it's
I'd buy it for my wife. I'd buy it for if I knew some girls were coming over.
I think if someone was a rosé drinker and I was like, I want you to try a beer, this I would hand them this and they may like it. I think as a beer, you can't give it higher than a 3.
No.
As a drink, it's a 3.5.
Yeah.
And I guess I fall in the camp of I kind of like it, but it's weird. It's a shitty beer. It's a tasty beverage.
Yeah.
If you like grape juice.
White grape juice.
White grape juice at that.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I'm kind of right with Troy. Really, both of you. Tastes a lot like rosé, but it's refreshing as hell.
It's more than you want it to be.
Absolutely,
like you first taste it and go, man, fuck that. You take your second sip and go, I mean, a little.
But I do have that other conundrum where it's just like you said of would I buy it?
Yeah, and I think a deli should be something that you would seek out. That's kind of where
Yeah.
That's why I can't.
It's really difficult.
I feel like I would
flavor-wise.
The only way I would buy this is if I was hanging out with all the guys and their wives, and I'd be like, I'll buy a 6 of that and throw in there because I bet some of the women will crush this stuff.
I'm actually psyched to let my wife try this.
Yeah,
like I can't wait till Thursday. That's when she falls off the wagon. I'm gonna be like, you gotta try this. Like I think she'd dig it because she likes a rosé in the right
And
moment.
she drinks more wine than beer normally, right?
Yeah, she's not much of a beer drinker.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'll give it a 3. That's right where you were.
Well,
yeah.
then that's a deli, but
That's
we're
the
gonna,
low
we're gonna
end
give it
deli. Yeah,
the
it's-
weaker deli.
I can't put it on the list of
No.
delis if there was a list.
Well, it would be at the bottom of whatever list.
But whatever it is tasty. I mean, so it's a
Pretty good.
3.
Yeah. I will finish this.
Yeah, I will too, for sure.
I will not.
Well, good job, Firestone Walker, for bringing a rosé to the table that
Yeah.
doesn't suck.
I just
So-
wonder if the other ones taste just like it, or
Yeah, and I gotta wonder because now there's a whole category that I have to figure out what I like because this could end up falling off. This being the first time I've ever tasted this flavor in a beer, that might be throwing me off. But maybe I get one that all of a sudden tastes like a better rosé, not
Yeah.
so much grape juice, and
Or
I'm like,
more beery.
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
because those
Yeah.
those brute IPAs that I've tried, they still have all that IPA, but they're like really effervescent and bright.
And dry.
Yeah, and that makes them pretty good. So
Yeah.
I understand why that's getting more popular. But this seems to be the next iteration of beer where they're doing more with wine because I think we've all outdone all the bourbon.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's only so much I actually was looking at a bourbon when I first saw my first rosé. I was like, that one looks really good, and then I was like, why is there all this rosé here? And maybe that's what we're going to see a lot of this summer and spring.
Yeah.
Kinda heading in this direction.
How does it work? This is out of California, so I guess it has distributorship over here, or is it made over here? Or?
No, Firestone Walker's definitely a California brewery, so
So this is one they can ship and
they got
still
one
be
everywhere.
still be fresh. Because isn't that what prevents a lot of them from shipping across the country, or so they say?
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you put a beer in a refrigerated truck and drive it across the country. What difference does that make?
Yeah.
It's
That it-
mostly, I would assume, cost is more of the reason.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, if you can make it on one side and not have to ship it all the way across, then that's going to save you a ton of money.
yeah, that's about it. It's not bad.
No, not
I'm
bad.
sitting here putting it down.
It's all right.
Buy it for the ladies in your life.
They love it.
Yeah,
They're going to.
I guarantee it.
They're going to. Hey, did you guys see who the new Colonel Sanders is going to be?
No.
Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, so I think we all miss Double J. I haven't had a
Yeah.
chance to see him too much. He knows that for whatever reason, I have a thing for KFC right now. Like
Yeah,
KFC.
what reason is that?
You
I
mean
don't know.
you've just been eating it? You liked it?
No, I love the marketing behind
Oh,
it.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
all the stupid shit they do.
What are you getting there?
When I go to KFC, I just get standard,
What?
just standard bucket of chicken. I love that.
What?
I'm more of a Popeyes guy. Like if it comes down to it, I'll go to Popeyes
Right,
before
right.
I go to KFC.
Yeah.
Now I have been making this low carb fried chicken here. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Troy got to try it.
Yeah,
actually,
hell yeah. That was amazing.
Last time I was here.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just
You're
taking.
always
awesome.
here.
I'm taking. In fact, I am always here. I'm taking like spicy pork rinds, grinding them up, just throwing them in chicken and put them in the air fryer.
Yes.
It comes out just like damn fried chicken.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, like you tried
it's
it.
amazing, yeah. It was
Is-
awesome.
We were here the other night. I guess that was after a podcast. Or I
Yeah,
don't
it was
know
at our last Sunday podcast we did.
and you had taken off, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, we realized, we're inching towards late
Oh.
and hadn't eaten anything.
Yeah.
We were like, oh yeah, we should eat.
We were on about hour 5 or 6 of
Was that after
drinking.
the Jenga?
Yeah, after the
Okay.
Jenga.
So then I whipped up
Tournament.
the air fryer and made this stuff. Man, I would challenge you to think it's not regular fried chicken.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
was,
that
it was
good.
that good.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive stuff.
It's got me. I'm on the air fryer kick. Like I'm gonna get one.
Really?
Yeah, after because I thought it was all hokum. Like it.
Yeah.
Like it
Voodoo.
looks. Yeah, it looks like shit off of a infomercial. Like, oh yeah,
Tastes like it too,
It's
though.
that simple. it's really gonna fry, air quotes, fry something.
I love when that guy bites into food.
Yeah, it's like a pure orgasm.
Yeah,
it's like the first rock of meth in your butt.
for sure.
Like, oh yeah, that's good.
I just need to sit down.
My father-in-law, I guess
What segue is he going with?
my
this?
father-in-law bought an air fryer 2 days ago. I guess I mentioned it to him because whenever I
Amazon
mentioned
was having
something,
a crazy
Costco
sale.
had a great deal for.
Really?
He had one like a $60 one on sale for like $40 or something. He gets home and takes out the box and immediately plugs it in. Thing cuts on and he didn't fully unpackage it. It was like stuff full of cardboard and plastic.
No.
Melted everything
I bet
to
it was
it.
delicious, though.
Yeah.
You can't fry cardboard.
No.
Horrible idea.
Not without a good base.
But yeah,
Yeah, you need mayonnaise
Yeah.
minimum.
I want to get one now after eating those wings on Sunday.
I'm not sold.
But you weren't here for the chicken. Honestly, you would have been like, okay, that's mind blowing.
Yeah?
It's that good.
That much better than just baking something?
That's basically what you're doing. It's a
Yeah.
convection oven.
So,
Nah, but it's got that fried ass crunch. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like if I just throw chicken wings in there with nothing on them and just run it for 25 minutes, I pull them out. They're crispy and crunchy, like fried chicken.
I did buy the wife a convection oven for Christmas. a little toaster oven. I'm wondering, I would like to try wings in there to see how it would work.
I think
before I bought
convections
that.
ovens are sweet, but there's something about what the air fryer's doing where it's taking that oil that drips off and then just kind of recirculating it around it. And the convection oven just lets that oil drip through.
Yeah.
Doesn't utilize it. That's the only thing I can tell is
Yeah.
different. But it definitely gets greasy and nasty.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I'm looking for.
oh, yeah.
But I also don't feel like I've been noticing now when I eat a lot of fried food, I feel really bad
Yeah.
Really?
after a little while. Yeah, it doesn't really work in my favor. And this hasn't made me feel like that. So
Cool.
I'm a big believer in the air fryer. My buddy Matt turned me on to it, and I was like, this thing is awesome.
Really?
So who's the new colonel?
Dude, this is great.
All right. Who has been the colonel?
Gaffigan,
Norm, Jason Alexander,
yeah.
Reba
McEntire.
yeah.
Those are the ones I can think of. I'm sure there's been more.
Yeah, who's the crispy colonel?
I don't know.
No, that was a different guy, the crispy colonel.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
Who is it?
So the new one
Yeah.
is RoboCop.
What?
Not kidding.
That's
Really?
the actor?
No, it's RoboCop.
Really RoboCop.
It's RoboCop.
Have you seen this?
Yes.
It's a commercial with
What?
RoboCop.
It's
Dressed as the colonel.
I don't know if they're out yet, but Double J sent me a link. He's like, "Wait till you see this," and it had like all the spots that are coming. Oh my,
Is it
Really?
hilarious?
they're great. Like he'll walk in the room and like like he'll eyeball everybody, but he's got like the goatee on his RoboCop stuff and the little you
That's
can tell
great.
it's RoboCop, but he's done up like the Colonel.
Yeah.
And he walks in and he's like, "You have 10 seconds to try this chicken."
Yeah.
And like everyone was like, "Get out of the way, RoboCop!" And he's like, 5, 4, and you can see everything through his eyes, like he's targeting on him.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like, "We're coming!" And like they're eating his $20 fill up.
That is genius.
It's awesome. And I guess I don't know if this was tongue in cheek, but in the article I read, I guess like the company that had the rights to all of that, like the movie production company,
Yeah.
was like having a fire sale and selling off the rights to all this stuff to raise money. And so KFC was like, "Yeah, we're going to buy up the rights to that mug." And they're running RoboCop Colonel Sanders.
Makes you wonder where they're going to go next. Like, is it going to
Yeah.
be Terminator? Like,
That'd be cool.
It's pretty
there's got to
funny.
be some other great, like, old school,
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
He's like zooming in on the biscuits, like not a threat, tasty.
Nice.
Coming up. I was like, this is awesome. Yeah, they're pretty genius over
You know
there.
who's all right? We've been talking about the best biscuit for a while. You know, Hardee's is on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's somebody that we leave off.
We don't
that I
leave
just
Bojangles
went-
off.
that I just went to. Well, maybe this is a different class of restaurant, but Cracker Barrel's fucking biscuits.
That is a different class of restaurant.
Yeah.
I think you're
because you
branching.
sit down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you're branching and you're playing the jump peg game.
Yeah.
I mean it's like a whole
But
different.
those biscuits are next fucking level.
Yeah.
Are they? Because I can't remember the last time I had one, so I'm having a hard time like placing it in the hierarchy
are.
of biscuits.
Yes.
That good.
Where do you put the Red Lobster
At the
cheddar
very
biscuits? I mean, those are
top.
amazing.
Yes. I could just go there and eat those.
My wife did me a salad last night and made those for the family.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
I just had to look at them.
You need,
Yeah,
you need.
the-
Oh yeah, because you're not
Yep.
even.
Oh, dude, that is miserable.
Oh, what a tease!
Yeah, it was.
You know what else is really good is that naan bread you were talking about?
Oh man, naan in general.
Dude.
Oh my god.
The new Indian joint by our house is all buffet. All the naan you can eat. It was amazing.
All the naan, and then just get that slop with the chicken in it,
Yeah.
and just go at it
That's
for
right.
days.
Never stops.
Never been to an Indian restaurant.
She goes one by me. It's buffet. Just go with hell in there and just throw them.
Go get some naan, man.
Get some naan and
I'm
fuck
just
it up.
scared of Indian food. It looks so unappetizing.
Nah, it's all
Yeah, but it
fucking
tastes
salty
like
and
extremely
know.
appetizing.
Well, a guy,
rice, meat, and schlop.
a guy that that's
Amazing schlop.
Yeah.
And the bread, they got bread figured out on a level that no one else has
Well, there's
quite mastered.
so
Naan
there's
is the
a
best.
place right here that allegedly is really good, and the guy that lives in my neighborhood, hang out with at the pool with, his wife was telling me like every Saturday at lunch, he goes up there by himself and just crushes the.
You know what I've never
versus Indian
understood?
food.
How come nobody makes naan pizzas? Because
What is naan bread?
It's
that
an
doesn't-
unleavened bread that is
so it's kosher.
perfection. It's so good.
I got an even weirder.
It's like a better
question.
pita.
Okay,
But like pitas suck,
yeah.
and naan is amazing. It's just the way they've done it. It's like buttery and
It is really good. Some
It's
places
so
have
good.
garlicky stuff, garlicky naan bread
Yeah.
too.
But why wouldn't you take a good piece of naan and make a pizza out of it?
I don't know.
Like someone
answer
should be
to that.
doing that.
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of better ways to make pizza than with that crappy doughy crust. Like that, a lot of people
Yeah.
aren't like they keep trying to find new ways to put cheese and shit in the crappy doughy crust. It's like
Oh, now Little Caesars has that damn pretzel crust. My
Yeah.
kids won't stop talking about it. They've never had it. They won't stop talking about
On
it, though.
TV.
Yeah.
Super random question. Not gonna win over many social justice warriors. But have you ever seen? I can't think of many Indian people that I've seen that are happy and nice to talk to. Is that weird?
Well, I don't know that that's entirely accurate. Because I've been
I'm sure that okay. Let me rephrase. I'm sure that it's not accurate. In fact,
Yeah.
I know that it's not accurate. But what I'm saying is, have you never gotten that?
I'm in sales, so I've had to deal with a lot of salespeople who are Indian. Indian salespeople are the best, and they have to be happy and get to the point. Like, I kind of know what you're talking about. A lot
So
of
you
them,
do know what I'm talking about.
yeah, because oftentimes you'll be like in a negotiation with them, and they'll kind of like they'll be all like nice, and then when it comes down to business, all of a sudden they get very curmudgeon-y and like.
I'm talking about like daily interactions, like, I don't know. Well, and I guess that's an invalid argument. I'm not trying to minimize your story.
No, all
I
right.
know
Well,
what you're
here's
saying is true.
Here's
but
a question:
it's probably a cultural thing.
Yeah,
that's what was my. So I
Yeah,
was trying to
but-
get to if it was cultural,
I would assume
or
it's
if it was
cultural
that they
because-
think that we don't like them.
I don't think it would be that because the interactions I've always had with them is they're super educated,
Right.
and they expect nothing less than the best
Mm-hmm.
from their kids. So I can only imagine what kind of pressure that would be on all involved.
Here's
And-
the difference, I think. First generation versus like
Yeah.
third generation in America.
That for sure.
Because there is no difference between a third generation person, but a first generation Indian does tend to have like an attitude of you're not going to get over on me. Like, so I'm not.
I'm not saying that it's even that. It's more of like just a cold personality. Like I can count on at maybe one hand in the last year interactions where I've been like, "Hey, how's this? You know, this, and they just give you this dead fish stare, and they're like, "Yeah, no,
Could that be that they're not understanding you completely?
no, completely understanding me."
Okay. I'm
But,
just trying to
like,
get to the bottom.
I
of
guess
it.
I'm just used to Southern culture where
Yeah.
you talk to people and they reciprocate talking back to
they
you.
don't shut
and
up.
they say hello and they do those things, and it's just this weird. It's a very the word I'm looking for is cold. It's
Yeah.
very cold.
Well, I would
You don't get that vibe?
I guess I've always interpreted it differently.
Really?
I've always seen it. I know what you're speaking of, but I think,
But by saying you know what I'm speaking of, that means that you've seen it.
yeah, but it's not a cold. It's a calculated to me. Like, you're not going to, I
But like
stand
you
by
said,
my
it's-
statement. You're not going to get over on me.
Well, you're looking at that from a sales perspective. I'm looking at it from a, hey, I'm walking up to you just to say hello to you. I ain't getting over on shit. I'm just saying hello.
I'm not disagreeing with you. All I'm saying is, like you just said with Southern culture, I've had those interactions with people who live up north. So I can only assume.
For sure.
I can only assume. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and just say it's a cultural thing where, hey, saying hi to every person you walk past on the street and shooting the breeze isn't a cultural thing.
That's a good point.
For them.
There was a dude on Rogan that I was listening to today at the gym, and he was like talking about how that exact same thing. How like nobody in the world is other than here. Joe asked him like what's the big difference, and he was pointing to that the way that people do that here is mind-blowing.
The first time I went to New York City, to Manhattan, I was in college, and I went up there with the girl I was dating, and we wandered around, and I was my typical, hey, let's say hi to people and interact, and hey, where are you from? You know, blah, blah. And like people looked at me like I had 6 heads. Like it was so weird to me and I was like just excited to be up there, and they're just like, why are you chit-chatting me, dude? Like, and
yeah. I've never been – okay, so I guess I'm getting to a specific occurrence. I've never been to a brand-new restaurant, talk to the owner, and have them not try to tell you about their restaurant.
Sure, I think that's standard procedure for a restaurant owner.
This brand-new Indian restaurant, everybody in there was like just extremely cold.
Yeah, it's interesting. I find it calculated.
When you go to convenience stores in the north where Indians run them all the time, they're the exact same way.
There was an Indian owner at the 7-Eleven by my house.
Except for the dude by my house, he's awesome.
I was going to say,
he chats up the wife and I all the time.
I was going to say, I was talking to one a week or two ago out in the sticks, and he was super chatty with me.
Really?
And, like he was giving me.
I think you're just coming across a batch of
them.
cold.
Yeah, that's right.
Like this dude's wife is a pain in the ass.
Exactly.
Like he doesn't like the restaurant that she made him open.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm always impressed. Like this dude I was talking to, man, he was like, man, I bought this place 3 years ago, and it's right by the Army base. He's like, you know, I work 20 hours a day, and I mean, he's like, I'm barely making it, you know, and I'm just like, he's like, I used to live in Baltimore. I owned a restaurant or something up there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was just impressed as hell with this dude, and he was asking me a million questions, and we had a good old chit chat while I was in there.
Yeah, I know I derailed the conversation, but I remember having that thought as to whether it was cultural or what caused it many times.
Well, and it could be different too, and in that restaurant setting, you know, I don't know the guy, and I don't know, he might not want you in there. He might want his fellow Indian people in there. I don't know.
That don't make no sense.
You don't think so?
So when I was growing up,
There's no Indian people out there.
Well, that's true. So
when I was
you just
growing
think he was
up, I
cool
had
with everybody?
Yeah, everyone in there that was walking around there that was cold as shit. And I'm talking like
that sounds like an environmental problem. Like in that restaurant, like that dude's cold. And
No soup for you.
Everybody's getting kind of cold. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like when I grew up, I had a buddy named Ryan Bandari when I was like a little kid, and he was like ton of fun, outgoing kid. You know, like we got along, and his parents always like just cold to me in the house. But they were like first generation, like had come over. He was highly educated. You know, the dad.
I think what you said is dead on. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, so I think that first generation.
But so what is that then?
Well, I think that over there, it's not chit chat; it's business, and business is cold, and that's why I'm referring to calculated
business. And like you don't have business with your children in their house. Like it's not business; it's life.
Yeah.
Everyone lives life normal. It's not all business. So why the fuck are you saying that they're only that way to us? Then when they close the door with their family, they're fucking, hey, how was fucking school?
No,
that's my point.
I think there's a certain like. Everything is business. You have it ends to a mean. Like you got to get to your point. You get it done. You do your work. Joy is not the end goal.
Yeah.
Like you're not trying to be happy. You're trying to do your
Successful.
job. Let that be raising your children. Let that be running this restaurant. Let it be. That's how I've always interpreted
Well, and you're
it.
looking at
That's
it from
weird.
It's like when you try to understand serial killers. You're like, why would anyone do that? It's like you're looking at it from your brain. You're like, why aren't you over here chatting me up, new restaurant guy? Like, I would be chatting everyone up because I would be trying to sell you on my restaurant. But like Brendan's saying, he's not.
But cold and calculated go hand in hand.
Well, he's not trying to talk you up and make you like him in his restaurant. He's trying to make a product that speaks for itself. He's coming at it from a different angle, probably.
Yeah, I think
He's wasting
he's gonna
time
fail.
talking to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that won't play here.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Right.
But in his mind, the product, I'm making a good product. I'm getting
Yeah.
people in and out. I guess I also see it differently though, because I have been in sales my whole life, and I've had many, many clients or Indian clients, and this is like back when I was like working directly with their businesses, selling them telephone lines or selling mortgages, and it's like, it was always the same way. Like the minimal chit chat, let's get to the point, and there was always like, I'm going to negotiate my ass off with you.
Right.
Good luck getting over on me. And that was always kind of the attitude. It was always seemed calculated.
Yeah.
And I think that could be gold. Now this dude could be an asshole.
Yeah, there's always
I've been
that.
going, he could be an asshole.
Well, that's what Rogan always says. We always want to put these, things on people. It's like, no, there's a lot of assholes out there, and it could just be he's a straight up dick.
Yeah, I'm just so ingrained.
Makes great Indian
I'm so
food.
ingrained in this Southern American culture.
Yeah.
That like if
I'm
I'm
the
at a
same way.
restaurant and like you don't say you're welcome.
Yeah.
You don't say things like that. I think something's fucking wrong with
I'm
you.
with you. I'm the same way.
That's just the way I'm wired, and I know that that's
you're
not right.
You're treating me poorly here.
Right.
Yeah, like
You're looking for an overall
in
experience.
my head, I'm like, what makes that person that way?
Yeah.
Clearly, I understand that it's cultural, but I've always wondered if it's something else, whether there's disdain there. Or
no, I'm with you too. Like manners go over with me. Like I can't help it. Like I'll say yes, ma'am, to a 13-year-old kid if they ask me a question.
Yes.
Like I just say those. I'll hold open doors for anyone who's walking behind me.
Right.
Like, and then some people are like, "What the hell's going on here?" It's like it's just manners. It doesn't cost you anything, and it makes the world a better place.
Right. It's very interesting, though.
It is, and I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think cold. I've run across a lot of like Eastern Bloc European people who don't.
For sure.
That's like
Yeah.
there is a hardened attitude there that has come from a difficult life and but I think it also kind of comes. But I think it's
Maybe
less.
it's everywhere but here.
Maybe we're just these weird,
Yeah.
outgoing.
That's
like
right.
we're like the inflatable guy outside of the
We
car
are, with
dealership.
the
That's
wiggle
America.
arms.
Like,
Well,
everyone else is like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That's right.
Middle America's like that too, right? I've never been, to the Midwest. But
Yeah,
I
you
always
meet a
hear they're
hardcore
really
farmer.
Nice. Yeah.
They're not going to be extremely
I think
jovial.
most of America is that way, except for
East Coast.
Maryland and North.
Yeah, northern.
Yeah. Maybe Jersey and North, I'd say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Just creeps over into PA,
Yeah,
middle PA, it goes away.
yeah, because once you get out of Western PA, you're in.
Yeah, normal folk country.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know, man.
Well, then it cuts off in New York, though. It's like the lower right side of New York. The
Yeah.
rest is awesome. There's this weird, big Puritan, I don't like people up there.
The Puritan. That's an
that's what it is.
interesting way to put it, because
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
so
It was
weird.
that man is evil thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joy is sin,
Yeah.
and just
Man
no
is
joy.
inherently evil.
No joy is godly.
I always think everybody's trying to get over on him is what it is.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. We'll be talking to you next week. If you haven't had a chance to reach out to us over at InsideThePalletHouse@gmail.com, please do send in the articles. I appreciate the article, Ben. Thanks so much for the interesting anchor story. Always nice. If you haven't had a chance to send us any topics, you can do that also on Instagram and Twitter at ITPH Podcast. Or, of course, you can always find us on the Facebook page. We'd love to hear what you're up to. Pull a Cincinnati swap on somebody. Sign them up for the show.
Do it.
Real easy. Grab their phone. Go, hey, you listen to podcasts? I did one just last week. And it went over well, I think. We'll find out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be talking to you next week. Cheers.
Cheers. That was a pretty good podcast, don't you think?